Hello? I mean, ciao. See, I do know some Italian after all. In this video, I want to share and discuss the challenges of what it was like playing a Japanese version of Super Mario 64 as an English child way back in 1996. Obviously unable to speak Japanese and with no guides or internet access in early 1996, I had to discover all 120 stars by myself. This made some simple events and star objectives much tougher to solve, and simple gameplay became almost like mysteries that I needed to solve all by myself. My brother is 20 years older than I am, so back in the 90s he was always importing consoles and games from Japan. This included 2 Nintendo 64s and 2 copies of Mario 64. In fact, we didn't have the correct cables for the TV and the N64 either, so for the first couple of weeks I was playing Mario 64 completely in black and white. Anyway, let's jump into the problems that presented themselves as mysteries to me because the game was in Japanese. Mystery 1. The blanket up the tower! Sorry about that, bad imitation of Mario, I won't do that again. A point of confusion and shock to me was something I didn't discover until I'd already beaten the game with 120 stars, and this involved the plank of wood at the top of the tower in Womp's fortress. I remember being a kid, sat there, not content with the fact that I had 120 stars, still needing to explore this wonderful 3D world of Mario, wondering, what is this plank of wood for? I tried to get the bullet bill to crash into it to see if something would happen, but nothing ever did. In a sign of resignation and annoyance, I eventually kicked the plank of wood. It wobbled. What the? I gave it 2 quick kicks to see if anything would happen. It fell, and a bridge was formed to the floating islands. I'd previously been using the owl to precariously drop me onto these islands to collect the coins. But now I'd finally found the solution. You're supposed to use the plank of wood. Now I find out after collecting 120 stars. Still, it was nice to finally solve the mystery. Still, there was another mystery that I'd had previously before acquiring 120 stars. I had 5 stars on the stage and I was missing 1. Where could it have been? Remember, I could not read the mission briefing at the start of each stage once you jumped into the portrait due to it being in Japanese. How was I to know that this said blast away the wall? Much like with the plank predicament, close to giving up, I decided to take one last look around. And to my surprise, I spotted a yellow power star rotating atop one of the brick walls. Wait, how did I miss this? I decided to get closer to inspect and take a closer look to see that the star had now vanished. Wait, is it inside the edge of that wall? What the? That was confusing. In confusion, I quickly climbed back to the top of the wall and even hip stomped it as much as I could, but it didn't break the wall. And then I'd have thought, hey, there's a cannon down here. Maybe this will be useful. Could I? Is it possible to break this wall? Mystery solved. I sure could. I think this was actually around my 116th star. Okay, so bear with me. Not you. Remember, 3D video games were a new concept at the time, and so being accustomed to 2D games, the freedom and restraints of a player's actions in a 3D environment were very much unknown. Therefore, I was oblivious to the notion of hip dropping on the wooden post that was chaining up the chain jump. I had the other 5 stars on Bob-omb's battlefield and around 40 stars in total. I remember carefully approaching and throwing a Bob-omb at the Chomp, and that made him zoom into the air, but it wasn't the solution. The star was still locked behind the bars. At some point, my little mind told me to stomp on the log. To my surprise, it moved. Upon the third pound, I sat, mouth open, as the secret jingle played and the chomp smashed into the cage and vanished into the distance. It's easy to sit back now and think, how is that a mystery? Well, back in the early days, as I stated, it was very unknown how we could interact with the environments, and so to see a big set piece such as a chain chomp interacting with the world in that way, it was pretty shocking and not something that you would expect. One of the biggest mysteries in the Japanese version of Mario 64 was, well, the entirety of Jolly Roger Bay. I could not figure out what to do. It was calming with the music, but the stage was murky with a haunting fog hanging over the water, and signs of life were minimal. Only clams under the water and an eel. A big, scary, purple eel with sharp teeth. I better stay away from that. It clearly isn't interested in a hug. I mean, it doesn't have arms. It clearly doesn't want to have a hug. A cave resided nearby with a treasure chest puzzle, and I probably completed that. But every other star was locked off in consequence to not understanding the scary eel was the key to it all. It wasn't until I completed the game by defeating Bowser that I, during the end credits, noticed the shot lingering on the eel, and it made me want to return back to Jolly Roger Bay to get the stars. I had to face the eel, head on. The first star of Jolly Roger Bay is called Plunder in the Sunken Ship, but how was I to know? The game was in Japanese. I ventured back into the watery depths and I approached the eel. It tried to take a chunk out of me. I then swam to the surface. Heading back down for round 2, I was instantly shocked. I could see that the eel was swimming around. He'd left the window he had previously occupied. I entered, I solved the puzzle, and upon returning to the bay, a variety of new store activities had opened up for me, at long last. Now for a quick mystery in the snow. Another mystery I could not figure out until I had beaten the game and had amassed almost 112 stars. Missing just one power star in Cold Mountain, I spoke to the snowball. It says something in Japanese, and then it rolls off. I would chase after the snowball, and it would always just slide straight off the edge of the level. What am I supposed to do? Well, it turns out all I had to do was follow it down the slope, take over the lead near the end and quickly get next to the snowman's head, and the snowball would slide into the snowman's head and create a snowman. Still, I remember the excitement of grabbing this star, and with only a handful left, things were getting tough. Where could they be? One of my most memorable moments in Mario 64 involved my adventures in Hazy Maze Cave. Here, I was confused how to get the star behind the red cage. Moving on, I headed to the basement, and while looking around I noticed that in the dark abyss above, I could see floating doors and boxes. Could this be related to reaching the star behind the cage? How do I reach these doors in the void? Did I have to stand on Dory the dinosaur's head and somehow get him to propel me up into the air? As I got older, I realised, of course, that these floating doors and boxes were simply objects, assets from the upper areas of the stage that were visible from the lower floor, due to the cave having no roof. So they were not secret doors after all, but back in the late 90s, this gave a lot of wonder and mystery to me as a child, wondering what those things up there were. The real solution to the cage star was found in the gas area of the maze. I kept missing this well-hidden ledge leading to an elevator that gets you behind the cage. Mystery 7, the 2 missing hot stars. Lethal Lava Land is basically a big square of the floor is lava. My problem here was that I was missing 2 stars, but how? You can clearly see the entire world and easily fly around it all. Shell surf even. Had I learned Japanese, I would have known that one of the stars was called Hot Foot into the volcano, yet 2 stars were inside the volcano. Clearly, everything I'd learned in life about avoiding jumping into volcanoes had been wrong. Thwarted by my ignorance of not knowing Japanese and wrongfully assuming that jumping into the volcano would get me killed, I could actually found these 2 stars a lot quicker. Gosh, was I shocked when I used the shell and just surfed up the volcano and expected to die. I fell inside and saw a new location load up. That was a special moment. I'd actually already completed the game by this point, so these 2 stars were a couple of the last stars that I actually needed to get 120. Picture this, a Saturday morning in 1996 in shifting Sandland. I had all of the stars apart from the fine 100 coin star. I either shell surfed or flew and landed atop all 4 of the columns by pure chance, probably to collect the coins on top. And to my surprise, the secret jingle played. The top of the pyramid started to rotate. It flew up into the air and it exploded. What on earth? I'd already acquired all of the stars on the stage, so what could have been the purpose of this? I would later learn that this mission was actually called Stand Tall on the 4 Pillars. Of course, having a Japanese copy, I had no idea that standing on the pillars would do anything because I couldn't read the hint. But this is actually the correct way to reach IROC, the boss of the stage. I had actually beaten the boss long ago by finding my own method to reach the boss room. The second mystery to me on shifting Sandland involved the vulture when I had 119 stars. I noticed that despite the fact that I had every star in the stage, the vulture was still clasping onto a star within its talons. My search for the 120th star was over? Is it over? I shouted upstairs to my brother, I found it! I rushed ahead and I hit the vulture so that it would release the star. Except the star then became transparent. It wasn't the 120th star. Obviously this was just a programming oversight where Nintendo didn't edit the previously collected star in the vulture's talons to become transparent. So where was the 120th star that I needed? Well, you'll find out soon. It's a matter of time. Sorry, I said I wouldn't do that again. Anyway, I checked every single stage in the menu. All of them had 6 stars and the 100 coin star. It must be something that is not a main course. Maybe I missed talking to a toad, a secret bonus level somewhere that I hadn't found. Maybe there really is a secret world hidden behind the mirror. Nah, not until the DS version, which I thought was a great addition, by the way. Peach's secret slide? Done it. The secret aquarium? Done it. Vanish cap under the moat? Done it. I retraced everything. By the time that I had 119 stars, guides detailing Mario 64 had begun to hit the shop shelves. My brother, aware of my struggle for this one elusive star, came home one day with a magazine showcasing the location of all 120 stars. I flicked through the guide like a mad child, probably looking as demented as Lemmy Cooper. And there it was. This is it. I'm missing this star. I am, aren't I? It was in Peach's secret slide. It has 2 stars. I had to slide down the slope in just under 21 seconds. The signpost indicated, albeit in Japanese, that if I completed the slide fast enough I'd get a prize, but how was I to know? The mystery of the missing 120th star was finally over. I am happy I played the Japanese version, as it allowed for me to create memories like this, and so I thought I'd take the time to encapsulate them in this video. I hope it entertained you, and feel free to share any memories of the game that you have. Thanks for watching.